What's up guys, it's Paraly5er here, and today we're back in Grounded OG once again, and we're going to be taking a look at all of the different building things and items that have changed from the original version of the game to today. So I'm going to be comparing all of the different building objects in the game, and we're going to take a look at everything that's changed. Starting with the grass wall right here. This is the first building item in the game. It's always been in the game. And as you can see, the first difference is that it's got a lot of brown to it. This is a full health grass wall. Now, usually in the game, if you start to lower the health of the grass wall, it'll start to look more brown. But this one just looks brown by default. You'll also notice in the bottom of the screen, the recycle button looks slightly different as well. If I hold X here, it's like a little countdown timer, whereas now it's like a little circle that counts up when you're looking at something. You also can't relocate anything in this version of Grounded. That's not a thing. And there's no multi-building either, so if I hold left click, it's just going to place one. You can still rotate, it does look slightly different on the screen, and there is still grid placing, however. Next we have the grass wall. This looks, again, the exact same. This one doesn't seem to have the same browning as the regular wall does, which is very nice. I actually quite like the look of this one. It's slightly more curved on the right side there. We have the little triangle wall here, and then we have the doors. Now, I'm curious if we can still do the door glitch in this version of Grounded. Let's take a look, shall we? So if I jump on this door, I gotta get on top first. Can you walk up the diagonals in this version? Ooh, there's something you can't do in the current version. You can walk up the diagonals. That's not possible in Grounded anymore. For some strange reason, they removed that ability, the ability to do that. Let's see if you can still do this. Seems like this would still work, yeah. It maintains a bit of momentum, so I will say that the door glitch probably still does work in this version. We have the stem door. Then we have the Z wall. This is like a stem grass wall. This exists in Grounded to this day. And then we have this. Now, this doesn't exist in Grounded anymore. I think this is supposed to be the windowed version of this, and still exists today in Grounded. However, it's now a curved version in the current version of the game. It doesn't look like this, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, this thing is very ugly, and I'm not shocked that they changed the way it looks. It's very different now. To move on to the weed stem wall here, looks the exact same as it does in the current version of the game. Same with this curved window here, looks the exact same as it does currently. Now, the slight difference here with these, with this wall and these doors is that I wasn't able to build these on the rocks, which I can do in the current version of Grounded, but in this version, these had to be built on soil. There's also some weird stuff going on with the textures here. I don't know what that is. But yeah, they're the exact same as they always have been. Scaffolding is the exact same, nothing's changed. There is more scaffolding pieces now, of course, but these two pieces that already existed, they're the same as they always have been. Next, we have the stairs here. Now, the stairs are just a bit wonky in this version. They're not consistent, like this is on a diagonal here. It's just a bit strange. And then the floors don't attach. You can see there's a massive gap here between the floor and the stair. That's completely changed in the current version of Grounded. In the current version, it's absolutely smooth. It's a smooth transition between the things. And in this version, it's just very janky the way that everything is connected. But I'm glad that they fixed that. Next, we have the clay foundations. Now, you probably didn't even recognize that this was a clay foundation because it looks completely different to the way that it does in the game now. Yeah, this doesn't even look remotely similar. The new one is obviously completely smooth, and yeah, it's not even remotely the same build. We have the clover roofs here. Now, these, I believe, look the exact same as far as I can tell. Same with the little triangle piece here and the upside-down triangle piece. They're all the exact same. The recipes, however, I do believe are different because they don't take weed stems. Oh, they don't take sap in this version. Sorry, they do take weed stems. They don't take any sap, whereas now they take 2 sap per piece. I believe those are the only recipes that have changed. I think everything else here costs the same as it always has, but I don't remember the exact recipes for everything. The roasting spit here looks the exact same. You probably wouldn't be able to tell what this is if I didn't already look at it. This is a smoothie maker. The bottom of it just moves around if I look at it like this. You can see it just bouncing around. It looks nothing like the current smoothie maker in Grounded. And it has a little dancing grub in it, if I hide my camera for a second. There's a dancing grub inside the smoothie maker. And you had to get the recipes by basically guessing what they were or looking them up and then putting the right items in so that you could unlock them. And the smoothies, as you can see, the icons for them, completely different to what they are now. So there are the smoothies for you. Also, obviously, you didn't need to have grub goop here because it was the only type of smoothie was a grub smoothie. You couldn't make them with mussel sprouts, they didn't exist, or gum, because gum didn't exist. Garden patches here look the exact same, except that they don't have an interface, which is very strange. Let's see what happens if I try to put something in them, shall we? How do you plant an item if there's no interface? Do they just not work? I guess you just can't plant anything in your garden patches. That's very weird. Now, the drying rack looks the exact same. However, it does look different in the menu here. There's a completely different image for it, which I thought was very, very strange indeed. And then the dew collector here looks the same. However, when I go to build one, it looks a little bit different when I place it. But it's the same dew collector, but it also hasn't collected any water the entire time I've been playing. But maybe it does work, and I just haven't had it out long enough. Lean-to looks the exact same. The two chest icons are the exact same. The inside of them is different, though, because they put the storage on the bottom rather than on the right side, which is a very weird choice. Here we have the plank palette. Now, it's worth noting, this is still called the plank palette, but the weed stem palette is called a log palette. Even though they're still called weed stems in this version, this is called a log palette for some reason. Couldn't tell you why, to be honest. We have the regular trail marker here. A lot less icons than currently, as you can see. But still quite a few options, to be fair. And you also can't name them in this version, so there's no way to do that. We have the juice collector here. Still exists in the game. It's called the water container. Still what it's called today, obviously. And then we have the basketball hoop, which still existed, even though there was no basketballs back then. Crafting table, again, looks the exact same. The difference with the crafting table, actually, is the lights. The lights aren't actually on in this version, whereas in the current version of Grounded, the lights are very bright and green on the crafting table, and you can actually see them. We have the spike strip here. Still exists in the game to this day. The difference here is you can walk through it in this version. It was completely transparent. And then you have the lure trap. Again, the difference with the lure trap in this version is that it didn't really have durability. So you could set up spike traps in a square around a lure trap, and it would attract all the ants, kill them all with the spike traps. It wouldn't use any durability on the spike traps. It wouldn't do anything with the lure trap, and you'd be completely fine. Then we have this thing here, which is the tripwire, something that a lot of people don't even remember existing in the game. So what is the tripwire, you may ask? Well, if I equip myself some bombs right here, you can put bombs. Apparently you can't put sticky bombs on the end of a tripwire, you can only put regular bombs. So let me make some regular bombs. You also can't craft 5 of an item in this version, you have to do it one at a time, and we still have crafting delay, so it takes a while. Okay, there we go. I put regular bombs on the tripwire, just like that, and then when you walk over it, it detonates the bombs, blowing everything up around them. Obviously a very cool trap, doesn't exist in the current version of the game, it got removed. That also destroyed one of my things over here, which was the light. However, before we get to the light, I wanted to show you the sap catcher. Now, it's called the sap dripper in this version, and I actually couldn't find a way to place it, which is why you don't see it anywhere over here, because it won't let me place it anywhere. It's less than ideal. It's a completely broken item in this version. It doesn't seem to work at all, but maybe I'm just doing it wrong. I don't know. As you can see, it does look different, though. It has like a little tiny sprig on top instead of being having like a big long log. It's also much cheaper. It only costs an acorn top and an ant mandible. Completely different recipe there. I think for the most part, everything else here is the same, although I did miss the bounce web, again, because you can't place it on stone, but it does function the exact same as it currently does, the difference being that you can't edit the values on here, so it's always going to bounce to the same height. Next up, we have the lights over here. Now, it says light and snuff when you look at them. That's obviously different to now. Now it's just a little, the little icon that's in the middle of the screen there that it shows. And as you can imagine, you can't customize them either, because that wasn't a thing back here. You can also see the stuff that I damaged with the bombs here. You can see the durability of all of the different builds, which is completely different to the way it looks in the current version. We also have the slime mold stalk here, which is like an upwards pointing light, which can't be turned on or off. Ant totem still existed and looks the same. Chairs still exist, but you obviously can't sit in them. It's worth noting that in the menus, the icon for the berry leather chair is just the regular chair, but rotated and painted purple. I don't know why, but they obviously just didn't have that set up yet. This is a very early build of the game. As you can see from the fact that all of the trophies here are literally red ants on grass planks, whereas in the game they all look like they're regular bugs. These are all the trophies that existed in this version. You can't activate them like you can in the current version, because that's not how it works. Let's sleep real quick, because it's getting to night time. Oh, these only grow mushrooms. You can't choose what to plant in them, they just grow mushrooms. That's interesting. Okay, so you can't sleep until 8 PM in this version. That's good to know. We're going to have to wait till 8 PM. But while we wait, we will continue looking at these. And you can actually put bombs on top of the display units here, like the weapon displays. What are they called in this version? They're called weapon wall mounts, but it says weapon rack on the image. It's wrong. Again, the armor stand image is wrong as well. But you can put bombs on there. You can't do that anymore. So I can display sticky bombs or regular bombs on here, which, by the way, have the exact same image in this version. Which is something I didn't even point out, by the way. The bombs look completely different to the way they look now. You can still pick them up after throwing them, though, which is good to know. But yeah, the sticky version, I guess, just has little blobs on the side of it, you can see. Kind of. When I throw it, it's kind of different. Not really, though. Now, you're probably wondering, Para, where's the stuffed creatures? I built a bunch of stuffed creatures, and I don't know where they've gone. So, you're wondering why I'm in a crafting table now, then, aren't you? You're thinking, okay, well, if you built the stuffed creatures, why are you going in the crafting table? You need a crafting table to build the stuffed creatures in the old version of the game. So let me go ahead and make one of each of these, which has crafting delay, which obviously we all hated, and we're so glad that it's gone now. Let me go ahead and craft them all, and you'll see that they go into my inventory. This is something that kind of baffled me, because I almost forgot that this was even a thing in the old version of the game. Yeah, the stuffed bugs just ended up in your inventory. First, we have the soldier ant. Now, this guy literally is tiny. This is not what it looks like in the game anymore, obviously. He's way, way bigger than this. The aphid is the correct size. The weevil is the correct size. The infected weevil is the correct size. We have the lawn mite, who I believe is also the correct size. Mr. Bombardier, are you the correct size? Let's find out. Yeah, the Bombardier is the right size. So for some reason, the soldier ant's the only one that is just tiny. Again, can't interact with these whatsoever to get the bonus loot, because that just wasn't a thing back then. Let's go ahead here and let's build a wall so we can place our other two stuffed bugs, because you got to remember, these ones, they float. And then slot 6, we have the bee. The stuffed bee looks exactly the same as it always had. I am going to be honest, didn't even realize bees were in this version of Grounded. This is the very first release, and I had no clue bees were in it. And then you have the stuffed gnat as well. Again, I believe that the crafting recipes for these are very similar to what they are now. I don't think they've changed much, if at all. But it is worth noting a few other changes that we're going to use the crafting table to note. So crude rope was called woven fiber. Bug rubber was just regular rubber. There was no bug in the word rubber. If we go through the tools here, the bombs look different. That's about all that's changed in terms of the tools. I'm sure some recipes have changed, but I don't memorize every recipe in this game. The eye patch plus used to be a thing because you could upgrade it using the Burgle's swap shop. All of the armor here looks the exact same, as you can see. There's 3 tier 2 sets of armor and 3 tier 1 sets of armor, with the clover armor technically being a tier 0 set of armor. And then you have your gas mask still as well. In terms of workbench tools, you have a bunch of different tools here. There's only one tier 3, which is the mint mallet. I am actually curious to test if this counts if we use it as like a hammer. Does it count as an axe? No, it doesn't. If I throw it, does it count as an axe? No, it doesn't. Okay. I just like testing these things because in old Grounded there were a lot of different bugs in the game, that's for sure. Okay, so this did used to be a hammer, as you can see, and it can break rocks. You'll also notice the attack pattern's kind of different. It's only a 2 combo attack on weapons in this version. Yeah, it looks... Or is it a 3 combo and it just looks slightly strange? Either way, the mint mallet used to be a hammer. You'll also notice it is actually called the mint mallet, not the mint mace. And when I right-click stuff to equip it, there's a little text box, which is kind of cute, that hovers over and says, mint mallet, mint mallet, mint mallet, on every single one I hover over. Kind of stupid, but it's cool, I guess. There's a repair feature, drop, inspect, trash 1, trash, stack. think those are the same options that we have today. Obviously, armor glue used to exist, doesn't exist anymore in the game. This is something that you could craft to repair your armor. Super armor glue was for tier 2 armor, and there was no other way of repairing them. There's obviously no upgrades in this version of the game. Canteen Plus still existed. We've been through all the art. I think we've been through all the base building and stuff. So all of this is pretty irrelevant. In terms of different materials, what's changed? Well, the images of every material have pretty much changed in this version. Anteg's, funnily enough, still the same. But yeah, the images are all different. They all have really basic images because this is such an early version of the game. Literally, it's just silly little face pictures. It's quite the difference. Spider fangs obviously are black in this version because they are now brown because the Black Widow spider got added. So the Black Widow has the black texture that these ones have now. Yeah, just a change that they made. A water flea chunk is still something you can get, but it has no image in this version. And the only rotten is the rotten lava blade, apparently. Because nothing else is showing up here, and this is on a creative world where I should have every single item. Spider chunks also have the acid gland image, funnily enough, which probably means that acid glands weren't even a thing. Oh no, they were, they just had the same image, of course. That makes so much sense. Anyways, guys, I thank you so much for watching this video. I'm going to end it by going and sleeping in my lean 2. That reset my spawn because that's the different bind than is in the current version of the game. There's no cutscene when you sleep, as you could see right there. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like on it. That is everything in the old version of Grounded. This is the original release of the game. Hopefully you enjoyed this look into everything, and it gives you a bit of insight of how far this game has truly come, because it is a completely different game to the one that released almost 4 years ago. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next Grounded video. Have a great rest of your day.